Long ago, before the earth settled in its turning and the stars found their places in the night sky, there were three kingdoms. The first was the kingdom of the forest, and in the forest the elephant ruled. He was giant, and when he spoke the trees trembled, and when he walked the ground shook. No beast great or small would say a word against him for fear of making him angry. "Mine is the greatest kingdom on earth," he would say, and because he was so powerful many believed that to be true. The second kingdom was that of the sea, and in the sea the shark ruled. He had rows and rows of shiny and sharp teeth, which he bared in a continuous glare. "Mine is the greatest kingdom on earth," he would say, and because the sea covered so much of the earth, many believed this to be true. The third kingdom was that of the air, and in the air the hawk ruled. He soared and dived all day with a great cry of caw, caw, bearing his terrible sharp claws and his hooked beak. When he flew, the thrush and the swallow hid in the bushes. "Mine is the greatest kingdom on earth," he said, and because the sky covered even more than the sea, many believed this to be true. And so it went, with each ruler thinking his kingdom the greatest, and he the ruler of the earth. Then came to earth new creatures. They called themselves the people. They weren't as strong as elephant, they weren't as fierce as shark, and they couldn't fly like hawk. And because of this, the creatures of the forest, the sea, and the air laughed at them. They said, "You are here to do our bidding," and so it seemed. And for many seasons the people walked around with their eyes cast downward. The people lived in the hills and never ventured into the forest for fear that Elephant would crush them with his strength. One day, as Elephant was walking around being even more horrible than usual, he fell into a great pit, and he, try as he might, could not pull himself out. Many thought this was the end of Elephant. But that night the people sat around their great fire, and one person told of seeing a group of people move a heavy, large boulder by tying vines around it and working together. The people told the story over and over and over until it was warm in their minds, and they knew it was good. The next day they went to the pit and tied many vines around Elephant and pulled him to safety. Elephant was so grateful, he said, "From this day forward I will share the forest with you." And he did. Meanwhile, Shark, with his terrible teeth, wouldn't let the people bathe or swim in his sea. The people were sad about this as they sat around their fire. Then a woman told of her grandmother, who had woven a mat for her home, but accidentally dropped it into the brook, where a lizard was caught in the weavings and couldn't escape. The people had her tell the story over and over and over until it was warm in their minds and they knew it was good. The next day they wove a giant mat and dropped it into the sea, where Shark, who was not paying attention, swam into it, got caught in the weavings, and couldn't escape. "Let me loose," he said. "Will you share the sea with us?" the people asked. Shark struggled some more and finally said, "Let me loose, and I will share the sea with you." So the people cut the mat, Shark swam free, and they never feared him again. But Hawk just laughed at the people as he flew among the clouds. "I am still the ruler of the air," he said, "and my kingdom is the greatest." But now the people knew what they could do, and that night, as they gathered around the fire, they all told stories that they remembered. Finally, one told of watching a child try to catch a butterfly. He couldn't catch the butterfly as it flew in the air, but could catch it as it landed on the ground. The next day they went to the tree where the hawk liked to rest. They waited and waited, and when the hawk landed, they threw a rope of vines around his neck and tied him to the tree. The hawk screeched and flapped his wings and screeched some more, and finally said, "Let me go, and I will share the air with you." So the people cut the vines and set Hawk free and never feared him again. "Now we are the masters of the earth," a young man cried. "We can rule the forest, and the elephant will fear us. We can rule the sea, and the shark will flee from us. We can rule the air, and the hawk will tremble." But as the people once again gathered around the fire to tell the story of all that had happened, something new came to mind. "We have overcome the strength of the elephant," they said, "and our fear of shark and hawk. We've done this by sitting around the fire and telling our stories and learning from them. We don't have to be the masters of the earth. We can share because it's wise to do so." And from that day on, the people held their heads high, never forgetting to sit around the fire and tell their stories, never forgetting that in stories could be found wisdom, and in wisdom, strength.